Okay, hi, welcome back to the Dylan Rounds case, and welcome if you're currently here in a live chat. A bit of an unpredictable one because who knows what will happen. And you know, the most important thing is right now is, oh my God, look at what Rat's wearing. He's wearing a blue top for once. That's never been seen before in a long time. It's even American football as well. So Jim Terry's gonna come along. He's gonna get fucking wild, probably get wet by this watching this town. Think, oh my God, I need to buy one myself. Don't worry, man, I've got you covered. And speaking of which, I've run out of hats, but I got this little woolly hat on. Oh, it keeps my head insulated. Brilliant. No, because I'm cold-blooded. I don't give a fuck about heat. But he's in the background. Don't know why. Don't know why he's there. I must have won him in the past. But never mind. Less of that. Penguin present. You know, he wants a woolly hat, but, you know, his head's small. This puffing hair. There's a complete fucking bellend out there who decided to mow the grass all of a sudden. Jesus Christ, it must be like these humans wired in to try and interrupt me or derail me from my 74-day fucking conquest of total non-stop uploads. But aside from all that, yes, it is a video to do with the Dylan Rounds case, don't worry. But I'm going to be talking about a range of different things as well as, you know, sharing my opinion. No, I'm not grabbing your face. I'm not squeezing your cheeks, facial ones. I'm adjusting the camera, okay? I know my hand's closed, but don't worry. It's in sight. It's nowhere else. So don't worry. Stop to mow the grass, hopefully. So I want to be giving my opinions on certain stuff regarding the Dylan Rounds case. You know, what's recently happened, what I've recently come across myself and stuff like that. As I said, you can share your thoughts, your opinions and everything like that in the chat, as well as talking about other stuff as well. And I'm going to try something a little bit experimental later on. Ooh, what's that? Well, basically, I know some people said play a bit of music at the end. So, you know, the live video premiere continues, but I'm not like talking like right now, but the chat's still on because it's one of those things where during a live premiere, you know, it will play. And then once it's reached the end, the video stops, but the live chat is still ongoing for a certain period of time. I don't know how long it lasts. Maybe a minute to 2 minutes, possibly. Some conversations go on. Now, if you was to replay that video with the live chat, you'd obviously see the conversations which go on throughout the video. But once the video ends, you don't see that other part of the chat because it's not like recorded along with the premiere of the video. It's just like, it gets like deleted, the very end bit. So, a bit weird. But with adding a bit of music on at the end of this video, the video will continue playing and you can carry on chatting or sharing ideas even though I've stopped talking here. So hopefully that makes sense. Now, what else is to mention? You know, shout out to the individuals in recent time who've, you know, given some, what are called, super chats or super thanks. I think they call them super thanks, but other people refer to them as super chat. And it's just like, you know, when you see those like bright, colourful banners that appear on the screen. But yeah, I appreciate the people that do send them to me. It's good of people to do that. And as well, I think you can also write text on them as well. So if you had a question or something, you could put it in that on top. You know, if you wish to, it's all down to choice. But yeah, that aside, what's the other thing I'm getting close to learning? So the pronunciation of Utah. So, you know, in the past, I did come across someone who was, or probably still is, living in that state. And I said it at the time, and they said I said it correctly, but I guess I forgot. So I've called it Utah, 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 and people keep saying take out the R, so it's like Utah, Utah. And I have seen like other videos recently of pronunciation, and it is Utah, like Utah, without the R on the end. So for me, I've got to say it quick, so it's probably easier saying, oh, omae o senjuro, Utah, arigato. You know, if I do it in a Japanese voice, if I do it in a fucking Japanese accent, I seem to have better chances of saying it. So that's really helpful, isn't it? Now, what was it? Where do I start first? Yeah, okay, this is another key point, okay? And this is to do directly with the Dylan Rounds case. So, some of you may have seen it, but I've seen the odd comments, you know, the whingy, whiny people that come in and say, hey, why are you covering this outdated information? Hey, this is like 2 days old. Why now? This isn't relevant anymore. And it's like, hold on, okay? It can be explained very easily. So for the impetuous people that don't understand, this should, you know, help explain. UK, there is a time difference between UK and the US, ranging from 6 to 8 hours, maybe a bit more. The UK are ahead of the US. Does that mean I receive information, news about the Dylan Rounds case quicker than people from the US? No, because the actual case, the actual mystery is in the US and they're behind in time. So what would happen is throughout the day, I could be looking on Facebook or YouTube. There are no videos, there's no updates, no news reports. I make my own video, and then later on at about 16 to 1700 hours, when it's getting close to eating food, I've just finished the video for the day editing. Then later on, around about 2100 hours, I will go on Facebook or on YouTube, and there will be news, new information, a new update. But because of the time zone difference, okay, it's morning time for the US, or kind of afternoon time for the US, but it's night time for me because I'm in the UK. So you can't really expect me to make a video, an additional one, at that time of the day. Hence why I do it the day after. So then when people from the US see my video, they'll be thinking, oh, you're a bit late to the party, but it's all because of time zone, okay? Thought I'd take that, put that in mind, okay? Now, what else is there? Well, yeah, so Heavy D, okay? Not directly back to the whole situation of the, you know, do you call it drama or so, where people are being called out? I know some people might have been thinking, you know, Andrew, you've got nothing to do with it. But it's just one of those things where, you know, if I isolate myself away from it and claim that I'm untouchable and I'm not part of the problem, then it kind of makes me look a bit biased and narcissistic. So it's easier just rounding me into the mix of the other people so it's more balanced and fair, because that's a very key word, balance. When it came to the Kenny Veach case, the only reason why different points of views, theories, ideas, key people reaching out to me was because I maintained balance. I didn't go all in on one idea, one person, because if I did, it would have locked everyone else out. It would have put everyone else off reaching out to me. So that's why there needs to be some kind of balance, right? Hopefully that makes sense. But more to do with the video of Heavy D and Lance. So the videos are available on Lance's channel. I've not seen them on Heavy D's at the moment. I don't know if they will be uploaded. And it was just basically exploring mines and mine shafts. Heavy D mentioned that in Nevada there's close to 20,000 mines or mine shafts. There could be. As said, when we were doing the previous video premiere of the Dylan Rounds case, don't know how long ago, maybe a month or two ago, and one individual said there's about 14,000. So, you know, to that extent, could be, possibly, yeah. I mean, that is a lot, but there's also a lot of land and vastness, openness, so anything is possible. I guess the only problem is when you've got that many mine shafts, it's trying to determine which one is the most likeliest of where Dylan could be if he was taken to one, dumped into one. That's what you got to try and ask yourself. Is it the mine shaft closest to Dylan's farm or closest to Jim's burnt down trailer? That's what we've got to try and think of. What do you think in the chat? Do you think Dylan is at a mine shaft? Like he went into one by choice, forced to? Or was he dumped into one? Do you think he was dragged or carried into one through like a horizontal opening? Or do you think he was dropped down a vertical mine shaft and he just fell down and down into maybe the depths if there's water? So just like different possibilities. Way, come on, let's get the claps going. Hallelujah. No, it's not super thanks time, but if you want to, you can, and I'll give you a free blessing. Yes, I'm such a nice boy. But luckily that fucking knobhead has decided to stop mowing the grass. Good. Piss off now. You know, it's raft time, man. Let me just... I know, he's decided to turn the lawnmower back on. You fucking prick. Absolute prick. More of a prick than Jim Terry and Ellen Berg combined. And that's saying something. But, right, is there anything else? I've got a little bullet point list here. My face gone red. Fuck me. It's because of this hat. It's insulated. It keeps me warm. Yeah, we might as well tie on. I did see one video of Jim Terry, and he was wearing a balaclava with glasses on. Don't know what was going on there. I mean, I can get more into that a bit later on, but, you know, Jim Terry wearing a balaclava. Okay, he's got this endless supply of hats and baseball caps. You know, I don't have any baseball caps. I know, that's not good. It's not good. You know, I'm falling behind. I know those cowboy hats work, but it only goes so far. So, you know, he's got a balaclava. Well, don't worry, man, I've got it all covered. You know, I like to go in hard. I really like to go in hard, man. You know, all these people wearing these balaclavas with fucking eye sockets, nose pieces and mouth pieces. I don't even need any of that, man. I can do this full on. So rough, man. I mean, I'm gonna sacrifice my breath so I cannot breathe anymore, man. Man, it's all under control. Everything's all under control. I could keep doing this video on and do this live premiere, man. It would go on for hours and I would still be here breathing. You know, I sacrificed myself once in a dangerous task, walking like a gorilla because I thought, what the fuck not? I decided to wear my Borderlands mask with a plague dog. Then I couldn't breathe, I couldn't see a thing. I could have fell over and twist my hand and ankle, but, you know, it was all under control because I always do. You know, even though I appear as the faceless individual, my identity is unknown. Who am I? What am I? What is behind this mask of darkness? Is it perception? Is it deception? Is it something very dark and mysterious? Will we ever know? That's the question. But I'll tell you one thing. I don't know if I'm looking at the camera or not because I really cannot see a thing. Oh, and I got the fucking hair in my mouth as well. I hate it when that happens. Not that I often wear something like this over my face because it wouldn't really make any sense. But yeah, I guess Jim Terry's got different personalities or different characters. Ooh, yeah, we will get more into that shortly. So what should I move on to next? Right, okay then. Let's move on to my opinion. When it comes to the Dylan Rounds case, who do I think is responsible, or how do I see the hierarchy? So this is the way I see it. In terms of who's responsible, the hierarchy in that order. So depends if you just look at Jim Brenner exclusively or a number of different suspects, one or the other, or collectively, but they're all involved and they're all controlled by a puppet master, okay? But I will just give you my thoughts, okay? So the way I say it, top of the tier, you've got Jim Brenner, who's considered the most obvious one, the main suspect. You might have Robert Aviles tied in some way, Don Hatley too, maybe Chase Venstra, at least 4 guys. In other people's minds, it would be 4 guys and then 1 person above controlling those 4. Treating them as what? Fall guys, I guess? Putting the blame on all those below. That's how it could be interpreted. But I'd say just from now, at least from what I know and have seen, it's one of the 4, okay? One of the 4. And then below that is the police who, from the looks of it, are covering in some way for the suspect above. Oh my God, that's getting so itchy now. Oh my God, he's exposed his hair. Such a bad hair day. Well, it wasn't as bad before, but wearing that cap, it did. Just a fucking awkward silence now, trying to adjust his hair. What a disaster. I mean, can this penguin style my hair? his beak is more like a comb because I can feel it dragging through my scalp. There you go. My God, who said you need a hairdresser when you got a penguin? The penguin does every job possible, multifunctional like a Swiss Army knife. Oh my God. So the police, as I said, are on the second tier covering, assisting, being lenient, I guess, towards one of the suspects because there's some kind of tie, link, whether it be in recent time or in the past. Okay, if they're working together, you know, the police don't want to risk being exposed in some way because they'll be dragged down as well and get in trouble. So they've got to try and help each other out, like cover for one. And, you know, some people could be still like, yeah, but can you really prove it? Is there enough proof? I mean, if the police were able to arrest Brenner back in 2021, and Candice Cooley is also very certain that that should have happened, and yet it didn't, that's a little bit odd. You know, you got the opportunity, you got the chance. Fast forward to the Dylan Rounds situation, and the police could have arrested Brenner once again, right on the spot, day one of the whole Dylan Rounds investigation, and yet they still didn't. Fast forward a little bit later, then they decided to. You add in all the other little stipulations of allowing Brenner on the 2nd of June to clear out evidence and material in the shed, which would have been investigated by police at the time or shortly afterwards, and yet no resistance whatsoever. So you got all these people, or you know, all these people who aren't allowed, for most part of it, to go to the grain shed because of the investigation, which is underway at the time. You know, being advised to not go near to the farm, but it's okay for Brenner to just go rummaging around and take things out, and that's perfectly normal and fine. No, it's not. And why did the police think that's normal and acceptable? If it's a crime scene, then things shouldn't be touched or moved, especially during the investigation. So there is that. As well as when Brenner was arrested temporarily or sent into custody, he was released shortly afterwards, and the police could have prevented him from being released, and yet they didn't make the effort. So there's that as well. So there's a lot of different things. And then even aside from directly to do with the criminal, just the treatment of obviously the evidence, delaying things, lying about the labs, things being sent when they're not, letting items go quickly, allowing the parents to drive vehicles back home or wherever. Maybe that's done indirectly to shift the blame onto the family fault by contaminating evidence instead of the police hand, so it doesn't make them look as dodgy by getting other people to touch the items. And it's like, well, it doesn't fall on them as much. So it's like doing everything possible to try and derail the case or make it less serious or favorited in one way or a witch hunt. Oh my God, this hair is not good. Do you know what? I've got to put this back on. The hat's completely ruined it. Completely ruined it. Oh my God. Right, there we go. So anyone joins in later on in the video premiere and wonders why this has been worn, it's because it's once again another bad hair day. And to be honest, it shouldn't be a bad hair day because it was okay earlier. But after wearing this, I've actually gone backwards again. So I've done great there. So in terms of the responsible tier list, criminal suspects, 1 of 4, in my opinion, okay? Followed by the police, who are assisting or trying to be more lenient towards them, drag things out. And then below it, who would it be then? Well, it depends. I can't really think of anyone in terms of the dodginess on the spot. I mean, you could say the residents of Montello or Lucin, not everyone, but some of them, okay? And the reason why I rank them further down is because they're not playing as much of a dominant part in the case, okay? Some of the people might keep their mouths shut because they don't want to throw the bad guys, the criminals, into a hole because they might, you know, have been threatened to keep quiet, or there might be repercussions down the line. I mean, if you've got militia groups surveying the area, convoys, patrols, anything like that, you know, and they've got weapons, you don't want to step out of line, or there might be some serious consequences. There's that. And the reason why I don't rank them above the police is because, you know, the police are on both sides from the looks of it, okay? And they do play more of a role in either, obviously, as you would hope for, solving the case, but if they're a bit dodgy, a bit bent, then almost stopping the case from happening, but not too direct or too obvious. Because if it was too obvious completely, it'd be dropped and then someone else would step in and then solve it, and then maybe the police wouldn't want that, the original LE. And as well, I can imagine some of the police, I wouldn't be surprised if they knew about the residents of Montello and they weren't really too mired about whether who talks or not, if they're quiet or, you know, if they do open their mouths. I mean, I guess one thing to be fair with, okay, because you can't completely dismiss it all and just go all in on corruption. The police, you can correct me if I'm wrong, is it Box Elder County, that police force that went into Montello that time when it was like that, almost like a lockdown, shakedown, arresting certain individuals for inappropriate behaviour towards younger people within Montello, the town? Some of the trailers kicked in and a few guys arrested. And I think one of them was a former fireman or firefighter, if you want to call it that. And police did arrest those people from there. Now, was that by Box Elder County or Elko County or another police force? Feel free to let me know. If it is Box Elder County, it shows that they're doing their job. You know, they're doing what needs to be done. They're making the arrest. They're not dragging it out. So that's all good. Does that make them seem less dodgy? Well, yeah, because they're still getting on with things and doing what they should be doing. And yet it's dodgy at the same time, because then it's like, well, if you're doing everything right with all the other cases, then why is it Dylan Rounds that one where you're messing up? That's what we've got to try and understand. And I know some people in the chat or people over time might come and go and say, well, the police are doing the thing behind the scenes, they're working on the case, working on the evidence. And yeah, that would make sense because, you know, as the parents have said previously, not all evidence can be revealed, such as the key fob originally, and maybe other things in between and stuff ongoing, because if it's released public, it can ruin the investigation. The evidence might become invalid. It might not be fully confirmed yet. Certain things need reinforcing, reevaluating. So there is a process. Okay, it all makes sense. But the only question I have to ask those people who believe the police are doing and following normal procedures behind the scenes, the question I ask you is it normal for the police like that, in that situation, to not inform family members of what's going on? And is it normal for sheriffs, part of the department, to come down and talk to Candice whilst also bringing their wife along and then having a bit of a bitchy encounter and telling her off for how they've been described online, even though it was a misunderstanding and not much actually happened? You know what I'm saying? There's a bit of, you know, lack of professionalism. If there's a lack of professionalism, something must be going wrong, right? If there's a lack of professionalism, then that counters out police following standard procedures of working on a case behind closed doors, because it does make you start doubting, and so on and so on. So yeah, that's really my thoughts on that in terms of the people responsible, directly, indirectly, and maybe some people along the way who might be assisting. I mean, I don't want to go all in, as I said, because if we start looking at other areas and other topics or other sides of people who could be responsible to blame for, you know, you don't want to be suddenly switching and changing and doing like a U-turn when you were so fixed and focused on that person was to blame. Because although it's not information, as seen and described as misinformation at times, it's like, what do you call it? Is there a word for it? Like a credibility? Like, no, I can't think of a word. Misinformation, but in terms of how a person appears So it must just be the credibility. That must be what it refers to. So yeah. Oh, that's the other thing I mentioned to bring up. So the Mob Crew. I don't know if some of you already know, but if you don't, I can't remember the exact date or time. I don't think it's been confirmed yet, but the Mob Crew on the community tab said they were thinking of doing a live Q&A with Candice Cooley, kind of like with on No Thanks channel, Doug's. Now, I've not really heard any negativity with the Mob Crew or surrounding that channel. You know how all the drama goes on back and forth within the Dylan Rounds community. I've not really heard anyone talk negative about the Mob Crew. And, you know, when I've seen some of his videos, they've been okay, you know. Some are kind of long, but others are short. Some are live streams and then others are a quick recap summary of what went down. So that's all good and it has been helpful. I mean, in the early stages, there was like a video by the Mob Crew talking about the different ties with Brenner, I think Chase Venstra, Dylan, Avalez, those people, and just drawing lines saying this person knows that person because of this, because of that, and it was sharp, it was clear to understand, and it was helpful. So, and he's also been responsible for like some of the drone footage as well, as you've seen with the track marks in the wash. So, you know, a variety of stuff. You got the live streams, possible call-ins, the drone footage, boots on ground at times, reviewing, analysing, you know, kind of like covering all different angles, which is obviously quite important and key. So I just wanted to let you know about that, because if you're interested in the actual interviews with Candice Cooley, whether it be to analyse their body language or what they're talking about, if there's any information updates or clearing up any loose ends, answering questions, then that's probably the type of video you should be looking out for. And as I said, that will be on the Mob Crew's channel. I don't know what time or date, but if you go on their channel now, well, not now obviously because live premiere, but if you go onto their channel afterwards or tomorrow, just check the community tab and then you'll see them talking about it in brief. So yeah, that'll be interesting to look out for. It does make me think though how it will go down. Will it be the same procedure, same formalities as on Doug's channel? And I wonder what other questions will be asked. I mean, maybe not the place here, but whilst this video is ongoing, you could probably think of questions possibly to ask them or send them in. I can't remember if it's done like a submission thing where I think the Mob Crew on the community tab said, oh yeah, I'm thinking of doing this Q&A live question from Candice, and then down below leave questions of what you'd want to be answered. So I guess it's like that, and maybe some people can send other you know, forms of communication via email if that's possible to the Mob Crew, and then he gathers them all up and then maybe passes it on to Candice, maybe like how Doug did. I wasn't sure if there was like a few people criticising Doug for how it was structured, that live Q&A on the No Thanks channel. I can't quite remember. You can leave your thoughts down below. I know some people were saying that, you know, Justin in the end was okay. You know, he apologised, he was okay with the live stream in the end. But you put that aside and you look at raw emotion, you know, heat of the moment, but straight to the point, the first thing that comes to their mind. That's what you got to look at. You know, sure, with time, people can change, people can look back and reevaluate and see things differently, but sometimes it is important and key to look at how someone responds, behaves, and acts right at the beginning on the spot, because it can highlight what is going on in their mind in the moment, at the time. You know, the way Justin Rounds was, the first thing that came to his mind was, in a way, verbal aggression, frustration, a little bit of anger, maybe a little bit defensive in terms of defending Dylan's name and honour. So that's what he's all about, protective, okay? And sure, he calmed down and he apologised, but, you know, what that could highlight and foreshadow, not that it's going to happen, but that concept of tying it back with past behaviour, like when Justin Rounds said to the police, if you're not going to go down there and investigate, I will myself, and I'll get my hands dirty, and if there is trouble, there is trouble. Obviously that didn't happen, but he's the type of person to do that because he's willing to find Dylan, even if there's sacrifices to be made, even if the danger threat levels are high, he will still do it and go in. And then maybe afterwards he might look back and think, oh yeah, I can understand. The police have a go at him and then he apologises and calms down. But you see that pattern of behaviour. So it's okay people saying, oh, it doesn't really matter now, he's apologised, end of, case closed, let's hold hands and run off to the rainbow. And it's like, no. Let's look back to how he first acted. You know, he didn't react like bad or like in a bad way. You know, it was normal for him to act like that and how he would think. It can but the most important part, fucking hell, fucking robots spazzing out right here. The most important part is what's going on in their mind at the beginning before they start calming down and stuff. Because what I've always said, at times it's better to be hated, so there's a form of aggression, there's a form of negativity towards you, than someone being nice, because there's high chances that when someone's being nice, they could be fake. Whereas if someone hates you, they hate you, and there's a reason for it, and they might make it clear. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes it is better, it's straight to the point and just clear. So is there anything else to mention? Yes, so I mentioned a point about arrested by police, question mark. Might be wondering what that is. I want to ask you a question. So let's say the police are corrupt and a little bit dodgy, right? You know, they might dismiss certain evidence and certain investigations, places to go to, and just say to the family, yeah, well, good luck, yeah, like that, and not be transparent, drag things out, be lenient towards certain suspects like Brenner. Aside from all of that, let's say if a human, general public, was to do something kind of illegal or not accepted or not really seen as a good idea, such as like trespassing on Dylan's land, and let's say this occurred when there was a police presence, what would the police do? You know, would they arrest someone if just a general public person went onto the land, started fiddling about, well, wrong choice of words, started rummaging around, they might have took some items, put some things in a bag and ran off? Would the police arrest that individual? Would they? I mean, or would they be thinking, oh, look at that individual coming onto the land. They're trespassing, not exactly a legal thing. They're getting in the way of an active investigation and crime scene. But look, they seem to be taking items and evidence away. They're running off. Oh, look, they might be disposing it. They might be doing us a favour. So then there's less evidence to incriminate that suspect over there who's got ties with us. So it means if there's not much evidence, that suspect might get off, and then it means us ourselves, our jobs are safe and our lives are as well. You think that's ever gone through anyone's mind? Or do you think they would just simply arrest whoever, you know, outright on the spot if they got in the way of an investigation? Let me know what you think down below. It could be one of those things where if there's like other people present, such as family members and stuff, they might just arrest the stranger, the general public person, if they're on the land when they shouldn't be. But it just makes you think, if there was like some kind of deal going on, or if someone else was to do the dirty work, maybe the police would look the other way, maybe. If it benefits them, then they're not going to complain, right? It's worth taking into mind. Now, let's move on to the next thing. So, kind of like with the Dylan Rounds case, more to do with the video coverage, okay, and like people that come in. Is there any need for mods? So you've seen it on other people's channels. You've seen it on No Thanks, probably Zav Girl, probably the Mob Crew, Lance's channel, Earthworm Entertainment, basically just about all of them, even Salty Pancakes, except mine. Now, I personally don't think there needs to be any mods because, one, what it means, it gives somebody more of a responsibility and yet another chore, another task to do. And the main thing is, people that come onto this channel, people who watch my live premieres should be able to sit down and just relax or listen to the video or just chat in the live chat and not have to think about, oh, I've got to ban this person, I've got to time out that person, I've got to advertise this, I've got to put the link into the description to make sure people subscribe to Warlike Raf and add that link in so people join Warlike Raf's membership and this and that. No, it shouldn't become a chore. You know, the audience should just be able to watch and have fun and not have to do all the other tasks in between. Obviously, some people like the idea of being a mod because then it gives them power, but that's further afar in different situations where people might become a bit corrupt, and, you know, and then other people might just like the idea of you know, being a mod because it gives them a, you know, a little special touch or something. But don't worry, you know, you don't need a special touch to become a mod. You know, I am here. Okay, what am I on about? And as well, the main thing is when it comes to the chat, it's not really been that chaotic or much of an issue. Maybe there was like once where someone was talking about wars or something, and it was like, what's going on? Is that necessary? But that died out pretty quickly. And at the end of the day, if there is any knobheads around and you don't want to deal with them, you just block them in the chat, because I think it's the 3 dots on the side of a person's username. Just click on one of them and then block or report, whatever options are available, and you can do that, and then it's kind of like over and done with. In terms of the amount of people that watch my videos, like at the time live, it's not too extensive. So the chat, the feed itself isn't like completely plastered or bombarded with dozens of messages. I mean, as like a little comparison, when I've seen, or when I've been on the odd other live video in the past, or in recent time where there's been about 50 to 60,000 people watching live, you look at the live chat itself and it's speeding through. There's so much text on screen, it's hard to read through it all. And then if you've got lots of degenerates spamming dodgy links and all that spam, that can get very messy and clutters up the chat and drowns the voices of the normal people. We've not got to that stage, and we probably never will do. But yes, if something like that did happen, where it was almost like a complete outbreak of degeneracy, then maybe, you know, steps and action needs to be taken in. But I think for most part of it, it's okay. And this is the other thing, this is where it's it. Whether it comes to the Dylan Rounds case, the Kenny Veach case, whenever, wherever, if people leave comments as well, just like in the live chat, they might as well remain. You know, they shouldn't be silenced. If you silence them, it makes you just as bad, or kind of worse, if like there's a comparison that can be made to other channels that might, you know, take control too much. And as well, you might as well just like leave the comments up and leave those users in public view, so then everyone else can see them and then know who to avoid at like a point in time. And that comment, that message by whoever, can stay up there as a reminder to highlight and demonstrate who they are and what they're like, and maybe even used as evidence down the line. So there's the whole reasons to why it should remain, okay? And as for the, I myself, because I could be considered a mod in a way if I've got the option to put people as mods or hide certain comments or this or that, because I'm in control of my own channel, just like how people are in control of their own channels as well. I've not had to do any policing. I've not had to really do anything myself. So if I haven't had to do anything, then nothing needs to be offloaded onto anyone else. So yeah, that's the way I see it. And yeah, we can tie on. So when it comes to certain characters in the comment section, or in recent time, because it's more relevant, the live chat of my live video premieres, really the only dodgy person, if you want to call him that, has been Brookie Brenner, or Brenner Brookie. I think I said that wrong, don't punish me. But yeah, a bit of a unusual individual. Just today they changed their profile picture to that of Kendra. Was it Kendra? Yeah, it was Kendra. How can I forget? You know, I remember Sunshine saying Kendra. Well, maybe not that, because if she's German, she wouldn't be saying it in an American voice. She'd be like, can I say it? Yes, of course, Kendra. Guten Tag. Yes, Kendra, please come this way. You know, why are you asking me the question about do I like the German sausage? You know, no, yeah, no, No, don't get confused here. You know, that's fucking embarrassment, that German accent. The only way I can seem to do a German accent is suddenly go into like almost like a gay Nazi, so great, isn't it? That's why I try not to do that accent that often, because it really goes downhill. You get the idea. Some people might be cringing already. But some people probably see Brookie Brenner. Okay, people say troll account, troll. Maybe, you know, no big surprise if that's the case. I don't know who the person is behind that screen, whether they're a male, a female, or whatever age they are. Some people say they're annoying or they're causing trouble. In my mind, at the moment, they're harmless. They're not really causing any problems to me. They're not annoying me. They're not causing me any suffering physically or black magic, voodoo type stuff. None of that. So it's not a problem. They're not really spamming either. So as said, it's fine for now. Like if this suddenly started, you know, causing more trouble, then obviously there's measures that can be taken. Okay, it's happened in the past and it will happen again. And I guess we can kind of tighten now. So, you know, you got Jim Terry, okay, you got Brookie, you got Doug. There might be some kind of like little triangle going on, some dodginess going on. People say Jim Terry, like, oh my God, look at Jim Terry. Oh my God, look at his head. Oh my God. You know, something like that. Actually, I saw one comment. I don't know if any of you saw it. No, actually, no, quite a couple. They're saying, oh my God, Jim Terry's so sexy. Look at that hat he's wearing. Oh my God, where do you buy that from? I really want that. Oh my God, your fashion sense is so out there, you know. Wow. And it's like, I don't know what's going on, to be honest. But, you know, we're talking about different personalities and different behaviours. And people are saying that someone like Jim Terry has different personas, let's say. 1 minute he's wearing a balaclava, next minute he's wearing a baseball cap, and the next minute he's doing something else. 1 minute he's very dodgy, next minute he's very straightforward. 1 minute he's very reckless and all over the place and saying inappropriate stuff. Then the other, he's you know, hard-hitting, making progress within the Dylan Browns case. I guess it's a bit all over the place, a bit unpredictable, but, you know, if he gets the job done when it matters, that's all that really matters, right? But, you know, tying it all together, we talk about different personalities, we talk about different behaviours. I don't think it comes close to the 50 Shades of Raph. And I hope I don't have to reintroduce that to anyone again. What's that? Oh, I can hear you. I can see your face. I can see the glimmer in your eyes. You're thinking whispers in your head, thinking, oh my God, I wish Raph would say that once again. I wish he would re-demonstrate and pull out all those objects and teach me another lesson. No. It's not up to you to decide, obviously. It's for me to, okay? So don't get too ahead of yourself because you won't get far. Oh no, you won't. But we can actually do a live demonstration right now. So I know some of you are very excited for this. Make sure you're breathing comfortably. The other people who think, oh my God, it's gonna be a complete wreck, it's gonna be a disaster, it's gonna be a right man, party's over. Don't worry, it's only an intermittent break, okay? So if you need to run away, feel free to do so. This probably lasts like a couple of minutes, so it's all under control. But if we've got someone like Brookie who's present, I mean, obviously you've got to take in mind like the age, because if you know, a certain age, it could get very dodgy. So let's do it in like a third person way so it avoids any dodginess or things going downhill down the line. But if an individual like Brookie Brenner flicking those beans left, right and centre and thinking, oh my God, Brookie Brenner, I want to have some babies with Mr. Brenner, oh my God. And if it doesn't go right, I'll move on to Chase Venstre because he's so good. Look at his beard, it's so thick and rough. Oh, I want to strip my hand right down it, give me static shocks, man. It sends shivers down my spine. It's like, okay, calm down. But whilst you can do all that, sometimes if there is someone acting out, causing a few issues. Oh, I'm sorry. I just had to recalibrate my voice. I apologise. But now I'm in the zone, and I hope you are too. So when Brookie Brenner, oh Brookie, where are you? Oh, right there behind that screen. So you're talking about Mr. Brenner, how he operates. Okay. You know, is he controlling or not? Does he know when to make direct action or not? That's the question. I guess the other question is, why am I holding my throat? I mean, why? Well, I'm sure there was a question made that you said that Brenner strangles people with his large hands. But are they the same size as this hand? Maybe not, but never mind. It's not the end of the world. Don't worry, don't worry. Brookie, don't worry. You know that little tear coming down your eye? Do you need a tissue? Do you need... I don't know. Well, as said, just to reinforce certain things, if at any point or time an individual like Brookie or anybody else starts causing trouble in the chat, if anyone starts causing unnecessary harassment towards whoever, it could be key people on this channel, it could be, let me do a little check on the list. If there's any trouble caused towards Cleo, Chrissy, Nella, Julie, Sunshine, maybe Mello as well, even Ray, even Eric, even anyone, you know, there will be consequences. Yes. But what type of material will be used? Well, you know, it's one of those things where, okay, Jim Terry talks about this and that, and then suddenly talks about a dog and its lower part suddenly pointing upwards. I don't know why. It's not that important, really. Though this is, because this is direct action. So when someone does act out in the chat, this will show up and it will be used, okay? Yes, it's good quality material. Only the best will do, yes. How will this be used exactly? However you like. Could be, I'll give a demonstration. Brookie, don't get too carried away. Sure, you can fantasize and visualize this happening to you if you were in the same jail as Brenner. Okay, you do your thing, right? So it could be like, oh, you've been a bit of a naughty individual today. Oh, I'm sorry. You know, you gotta make sure you don't act out of line or things like that will happen. Oh, I missed. I just grazed the skin. That's unfortunate. Oh no. It means it has to be done again. Exactly. And one for the chest area because there is enough surface area. Oh my God, this is too much for me to handle. Yes, exactly. It will be too much to handle by the time one's finished. But don't worry. There's always a safe option. There's always an easier choice. Smooth silk. This can be used. Yes, all over. It could be used to tie one hand together. Do you know what? I'm gonna demonstrate that myself. I'm going to make myself vulnerable just so I can demonstrate. I'm a very giving person. Maybe that's not always for the best. So if I bind my hands to this silk piece of, you call it makeshift rope, okay? Make it kind of tight. Oh my God, it's constricting my skin. Oh my God, it's too much for me to handle, man. I don't know if I can take this. Well, that's not for you to ask. You'll find out yourself. I'll just slowly wrap this around like a snake, constricting on the skin, the surface. If I'm correct in saying, the individual Brookie said she likes snakes. Well, That's good to know. Really. There we go. Obviously, the tightness of it can vary, but when it's like that, oh, I can't go anywhere. I can't move. I'm all tied up. What am I going to do? Please, please release me. Release me from your constraints. I'll do whatever you say. Yeah, said no one. Oh, we've transitioned into garroting someone. That's brilliant. Let me overlay this over your head for a second. There we go. And pull you closer. Yeah. You're very close to my face right now. You can't see. That's a shame, isn't it? What's going to happen now? I'll tell you. I'm going to push you backwards. Make sure you don't fall back. Okay? I'm going to unsheath myself off these ropes. I'm going to sit down like a good boy. Yeah? Yeah? You want me to sit down like a good little boy? I'll do that. Don't worry. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to return back to the mystery case and carry on talking. And you're going to sit there and continue watching, okay? And cleanse your mind of any unnecessary dodgy thoughts so you can take all the information in, okay? So we're going to do this on the count of 2 and then push you. 1, 2. There we go. Oh, you seem to be facing in an opposite direction. That's unfortunate. Don't worry, I can adjust things. There we go. See? What's the problem? What's with all the fuss? I've no clue. I've no clue. No, I've not applied makeup to my face. I've just gone very red. Oh my God. I've got sunburn. What's going on here? I don't know. This hat must be causing some kind of black magic going on because, yeah, I'm confused all of a sudden. That's weird. But, yeah, basically, if anyone does act out, you know, it can be resolved. Very simple. And, you know, the best way to look at it would be, if in the past I've come across people who've appeared somewhat threatening, caused a fair bit of trouble and gone against terms of service, and some of them had a bit of a gay obsession with me, and yet in the end it was resolved. They moved away and that was it. So it can't, well, it could get worse obviously, but you know, if you've got past experience and it's kind of worked out, then it could happen again. I mean, Sunshine did bring up the point saying, is this person, this user, this troll, this, that, are they going to get bored and move away? Yeah, they will eventually. I mean, obviously certain methods and steps to be taken for them to get bored. But, you know, if you've got the stamina and they haven't, then, you know, they will walk away eventually. And sometimes indirectly, do you know, like when people say, oh, don't be covering this or that, don't like give them attention or anything like that. And to be honest, it's worked out differently, because in the past, when I covered videos on people sending me messages, codes and threats, in the end, I don't think they liked it, because they started receiving a little bit too much attention and too much questioning. Another side example, when someone did a bit of a prank, a bit of a joke comment to do with Kenny Veach before he truly went missing and said, don't go back out there because if you do, you won't come back. And obviously it did happen, but to that commenter, they weren't expecting that to truly happen. And when it did, they were like, oh shit, I've got more than what I banged for. And then people started messaging in mass numbers. So it led to harassment in a way, demanding of answers, and the person probably couldn't take it and then just deleted their account, ran off, and that was it. So sometimes the attention can backfire on those people. So it can work out. Now, moving on to some kind of drama, if you want to call it that. So I had a little bit of a run-in with Ty Corbin like a day or two ago. And basically, in short, he was threatening to strike my channel. Now, That's not happened before, but it could happen at any point, any time. You can't just dismiss the idea that it won't happen. Basically, if you get a strike, there are certain limitations and punishments. I think basically if you get 3 strikes within a month, your channel is terminated. That's it. Your channel's deleted and all the videos, everything completely gone. That's it. If you get 1 strike, I think you're not allowed to do any live streams or live premieres for a week. 2 strikes, I think that means you can't make videos as well and comments for a certain period of time. I don't really know the exact lengths or the specificness of each one, but there is obviously punishments for them. Now, the reason why Ty was bringing that up towards me, saying I probably should give you a strike, Andrew, is it was just because of misunderstanding of, I guess, usage of content. Now, the thing is, I might be wrong, correct me down below, but when you look at Earthworm Infotainment or Earthworm Entertainment, that's Lance's channel, Lance Kelly, who records himself out and about exploring with Kimber or with Ty. Does Ty Corbin run that channel, or does he just appear on it as a guest? Is it Lance Kelly's main channel, or is it like them two collaborating, you know, setting a channel up together at the same time? I don't know, because that could explain to why I'm saying, oh, why are you using this person's footage, or why are you using my footage the way you worded it? Like, you can't really say it's Ty's footage if Lance Kelly is the one recording it and uploading it to his channel. But then again, if Ty owns that channel or partially owns it, then yeah, I guess you can say it links to him. But like when it comes to the different people out there, so Doug from No Thanks, whilst he's been criticised and stuff, he here and there he does say you can use my video footage just to spread the word, and like in his mind at the time, maybe things can change, you know, people can change in behaviour, and I have had experience with that, so I'll throw that in shortly, okay? But like with the recent one with the interview with Candice Cooley, and he was like, you can share it, you can re-upload it or something, you can cover it in your own videos, do it for whatever reason, views, money, attention, growth, just spread the word, that's all that matters, and I don't mind if you use my footage. That's basically his wording. So a little bit reckless, but he doesn't seem too strict. Then again, when Salty Pancakes might have done a video in the past on No Thanks, or talked about him, there was like a copyright takedown request. Can't remember exactly what it was all about, but I think it was all to do with interviews with Kurt Wadsworth and or you shouldn't be releasing them yet, something like that. So, you know, when there's changes in behaviour like that, people can snap and then suddenly go back on what they said. And from personal experience, back when it came to the Kenny Veach case, and it was one of the investigators who was boots on ground looking into the mystery of Kenny Veach and the M Cave, was called Sean Horlacher. Originally some law enforcement guy working in a prison in Las Vegas or something. So he's gone through the different ranks and obviously knows people within the department and stuff, has his own contacts and ex-friends, or not ex-friends, ex-law enforcement and all that. And in the past I said, can I use your footage? Is it okay? He said, sure, it's fine, no problem. Use it if you want. And I obviously gave credit to the channel. But then down the line, through misunderstanding and him changing in behaviour, all of a sudden, he was like, right, I'm going to copyright strike you and copyright claim you on every video you've used footage from my channel. And it's like, but you said it was okay to use your footage, but now you suddenly changed your mind on the spot. It's a kind of unfair in a way. It's almost like if how do I word it? I haven't really got an example. If like obviously 2 people, stuff happens, and then afterwards the person says, no, actually I didn't allow it. You know, me. I can't say the word because YouTube will you know, punish me or something. And it's like going back on your word, like just a massive U-turn. It's like, yeah, but there was an agreement originally, that's the thing. And then suddenly you decide to go back on it, and it can get very messy, obviously, and a bit confusing and troubling. But in terms of my experience within the Dylan Rounds case up to now, it's been okay. So Salty Pancakes has allowed me to use his footage. No matter what people think of Pancakes, in terms of my opinion, it's good of him to allow me to use his footage. At first there was a bit of a misunderstanding, but that was under control, no problem, even if it did get a bit confusing at times. But that was under control in the end. He said I can use his footage here and there and stuff, so there isn't any problems. Doug said, you know, you can use footage if you want to spread the word in general to people. The mob crew doesn't seem too strict on stuff. Who else? East Idaho News Channel, you know, reached out to the editor, or, you know, the main guy, I can't remember his name, the guy who appears in the interview videos whilst talking to Candice Cooley and Justin Rounds, that guy. I emailed him and he reached out back to me and said, thank you, it's perfectly fine, you can use the footage if you want to, 30 seconds or less, and that's all good. So it's like, there we go, we haven't got any problems there, it's all working out in a way. As for Lance Kelly, obviously used a little bit of footage from him when it came to Jim Brenner's trailer and stuff like that. And, you know, from the looks of it, you know, he's seen a couple of my videos, and on one of them at least, he did leave a comment saying, you know, thanks, and if you got any additional questions, reach out to me via email. So there was no problems there. He didn't come back and say, hey, I've noticed you using some previous footage. I don't appreciate that. Can you take it down? None of that happened. So I guess Ty Corbin didn't know about that, so that's probably why he assumed other things, but I think that's under control. And also, things could go downhill again, or something else unexpected could happen. So that's why I'm just letting you know now, because if there was a time of inactivity, and I don't mean like me taking a break or you know, just walking away from it. I mean, like, if there was like other reasons, like I wasn't allowed to upload any videos for like a week or two, there was no more live premieres coming out for like a week, that's probably because of restrictions. If I received a copyright strike, if my channel suddenly disappeared or videos disappeared, it's because of a free copyright strikes. If the odd video disappears, it's because I've been forced to take it down, not by choice. Just thought I'd just throw in these little points now, here and there, just so you're aware. So if anything unusual happens, or if there's any unusual behaviour, and I don't mean like a chair being upside down or the penguin walking upside down backwards, not that stuff, but in terms of the more serious things, you know why, so you get an idea. So no harm being prepared, you know, why not? Is there anything else that I need to make or, you know, talk about? So you can leave your thoughts in the chat so far, in terms, you know, like your thoughts within the Dylan Rounds case, but maybe also your thoughts on certain people within the Dylan Rounds case, whether it be the ones directly involved or indirectly. You know, where do you think they're at? Do you think they're successful in the case, solving it? Or do you think that they're not? You know, different opinions and stuff, so it does change, but it's just worth taking in mind. That's it. In terms of ideas, video ideas of videos for me, so I need to do them in a certain order before they become invalid or before people start investigating. So about the cemetery, got the name for it, I think I noted it down somewhere. I'll do a map analysis of a cemetery in which Dylan Rounds used to visit, okay? See if he's there, if he's been taken there, buried there, who knows. I know Salty Pancakes, or someone at least, is thinking of going down there. They said something about certain areas being flooded. I don't know what that's all about. Maybe it's underground, in the catacombs, if there is any, or if there's like an open grave in it, or there's a hole, there's a mine shaft nearby. I don't know what they're talking about, but something filled with water. If that is the case, there is ways around it, because from looking at, as said earlier in this video, Heavy D and Lance's video of exploring the mines, the equipment they used when checking the depth of water in a hole was, first of all, use a rock, tie it to some rope, drop it down, and then pull it back up and then see how wet it is, or the height of the wetness. That sounds weird, that. But the height of the wetness, if the rope is wet up there, then you can kind of like predict and give a rough idea of how deep the water is. In their case, it was like on an angle or something, and there was rocks scattered about, so it was a bit awkward. So what they did then was pull it back up, and then they attached a GoPro camera to the rope, and it was waterproof. They also attached some kind of bright firefighter light, which was also waterproof. They dropped it down into the hole, and then, you know, was able to get an idea of what it looked like in terms of the light, revealing it more, better clarity visually, but also recording it at the same time, which is all very helpful. So if things like that can happen and are successful, whether it be salty pancakes going out there, this information could be useful and be used if they have the correct equipment when going out there. But as I said, whether it happens right now or at a later point, I will do a map analysis, preferably sooner than later, so it's still valid, of the cemetery in question. If it's possible to do a ground level street view, I will do so, or if it's just an aerial viewpoint, checking the distance of where one thing is to another, I can do so, okay? I still need to do a little video on Robert Aviles. Keep forgetting to do that. I need to get that out of the way. It's just a small one, not too in-depth, so I can get that done. Chase Venstre, we need to do another map analysis of Ogden and certain things around that, because I've got some ideas and theories. I can't remember if I noted it down, so I'll just ask the question now, and you can leave a reply in the comment section and/or the live chat right now. So there was talks about Chase Venstre being caught on camera in Ogden getting a pizza 200 miles away. I think it was the 15th. Does anyone know exactly the date/month? Yeah, the date/month. If you know, that would be appreciated. Just so I can tie it in with a certain theory. Okay, so it is helpful. Is there anything else to do? There probably is. I've probably got the odd little note here and there. It's just like, it's on the phone and I'm recording right now, so I can't access it. But there's a few little bits and bobs, and there might be like court documents and stuff like that. But I am limited in a way because, you know, with not being in the US, you can't really access this stuff the same way, or it tends to be a bit more restrictive and stuff like that. So it's just finding the best practical way around it. And this is the thing, I know you go on certain websites, there might be people posting photos, screenshots of some of the court documents, so you can view them that way. I saw it on Twitter in recent time with my last video or so. I'll put the link down below if you haven't watched it already, my last video, where looking at court documents of Brenner, the original ones, 2021, to a specific crime. So that's another way. I know there's the website called Web Sleuths. Yeah, I've come across that just in recent time. That seems kind of interesting in itself. I think you do have to have an account, which is a bit annoying, but Web Sleuths, if that's a forum where people talk about Dylan Rounds, share images, theories, court documents, then that looks like the go-to place to get hold of the information without having to pay or be restricted due to countries' access, you know, that sort of stuff. In the chat, have any of you been on Web Sleuths? Have you ever heard of that website? I only just came across it recently. Kind of reminds me of GLP. Do any of you know of GLP? Have you been on that site? That's another forum called Godlike Productions, talking about, you know, politics, military, mysteries, caves, ancient stuff, the lot, anything, everything. And that was a go-to place for the Kenny Veach related stuff, CCTV footage, the Crystal Skull, and all that type of stuff. So it'd be interesting to see if GLP has any information regarding Dylan Rounds. I might have a look at that. Yeah, I'm going to have a look at that. Go on GLP and see if it mentions anything about Dylan Rounds. This is the thing, though, with GLP, if you post too often, or you do certain things which they don't approve of, you get banned. You got to change your IP address and all that. I can't really be bothered. But the fact is, They're very sensitive and very touchy. You know, the way GLP is described as is a hardcore battleground. You know, you're going to be taking insults like a man. You're going to be taking punishment like a little boy. You cannot answer back. You got to listen to every single insult. And you know, when I went on it, the best thing someone came up with as a criticism was, God, this guy called Warlike Wrath is so fucking annoying and boring. And I'm like, oh, I was expecting extreme threats, extreme violence, extreme anger. And that didn't happen. So it's a bit confusing, that, considering how it's been described as to reputation. Unless it was just right place, right time maybe, and it's changed since, who knows, or it was worse back then. But when you get these little forums on the sideline, they can be useful, okay? They might have alternative information. It is some kind of anonymous posting. People might reach out. People might say things you wouldn't see on Facebook or YouTube. So it is worth checking out. And you yourself, the viewer, whilst you may look on YouTube, if you're able to, if you want to, maybe check out the odd forums, if there is any. I know there is Reddit, that's more of a popular one, but just see if there's any side ones, any lesser known ones, provided they're not dodgy, obviously, and just to see if any information pops up which you've not seen before, and maybe share it with others. So it's worth just taking a detour down these back routes, because you might find stuff other people aren't aware of. So worth taking into mind. Anything else? Okay. So maybe like the last thing, TikTok awareness. So when we're talking about TikTok, arguably a bit of a degenerative platform, quite a lot of degenerative people on there. It seems to be more suited towards the country you're in. So if you upload a video, it'll be more to do with the country you live in. Whereas on YouTube, if I upload a video, the majority of people that watch are from the US, okay? Even if I was to do gameplay, any type of video, it'll be dominated by the US. My God, the US, man. Full on respect. I'm gonna do a fucking salute. Where's the flag at? My God. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing now. But you get the idea. It's mainly Americans, which is fine. It's all good. I don't have any. I don't really have problems with people from America. I know some people from the US come along and then might criticize their own people, but I don't have an issue with people from America. No issue. It's fine. Yeah, you'll get a few people that are like loud mouths. I've seen that in video games in the past, but that's about it. And then you get the opposite, the younger people where the squeakers, you know, the little squeaky voice. I'm not going to do one right now because it's very cringy. But, you know, you see a few different ones like that, but it's just not an issue. With TikTok, the coverage on the Dylan Rounds case is limited. At first, there was a range of videos, you know. When I came along, which wasn't at the beginning, it was like a month on, there was coverage and there was a fair few videos, but ever since, there's not been really any new ones. So I've tried uploading the odd video here and there to spread the awareness on the case, so more people hear about it, maybe reach out either on my channel or other people's, or even Candice Cooley specifically, maybe. It might attract the right people with the right resources, you never know. Or maybe the odd popular person on TikTok might see a video from YouTube or another person's video on TikTok, like mine. Let's just use a quick example. And then that spreads to other people because it's shared. And then it just might lead to more awareness. There's no harm. It's not causing any trouble. Really, the only difficult thing is, well, actually, first of all, if you were to randomly check my TikTok, if you wanted to, for whatever reason, there is a link on my channel page on the right-hand side of the screen. There's you know, the little icons on it, like the banner, the artwork background banner on my main channel page on the right-hand side. There should be a little icon saying TikTok next to the Instagram one. And if you want to click on it, you click on it, and then it'll take you to my page, so you can check the videos out that way. But the difficult part with TikTok is you got to try and make your videos kind of short. I mean, I think it can go up to about 5 to 10 minutes, but preferably the more successful videos are about maybe 7 to 20 seconds long. And, you know, people have a very short attention span on TikTok. There's a lot of degeneracy going on, okay, over there. I don't know if it applies to a certain age range or not, but you know, people watch for like 2 seconds and then that's it. So you want to try and get all the important information out as soon as possible without dragging the video out so people absorb it quick. And obviously, like with my videos, like maybe this one right now, my video's on short. And if I try and do a short video, I'll either stutter all over the place, like when I do the TikTok ones, I miss out something important and then I'm like, oh shit, or I'll end up, you know, it just doesn't, I'm not good at very short videos and summarizing. It takes a bit of time to explain stuff. That's just how it works for me. But, you know, I have been able to do a couple of videos on TikTok really on the Dylan Rounds case. But it's one of those things where the main focus is on YouTube, as that's more important in a sense and more of a developed, what do you call it? The channel of mine is more established on YouTube than it is on TikTok. So obviously you put more effort, time and focus into the main one. With TikTok, that's more of a sideline thing, but I'll try and get videos out here and there. But as I said, it can be a bit difficult to do because of the timing and the length of the videos as well, restrictions with that. But, you know, end of the day, it's just yet another platform to possibly branch out to try and spread awareness on the case. Because as I said, if the police aren't doing the job at times, or, you know, Candice doesn't feel like she's got a voice, then obviously you've got these different platforms that might offer it here and there. You can leave your thoughts down below. What do you think on that sort of stuff? Is there anything else to go back over? Maybe not. If you've got additional thoughts, theories, questions, anything like that, feel free to list it down below in the comment section. That's it for now. I hope you enjoyed the video and good night. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.